Alrighty guys, it is Qaaman here today and I'm bringing you another Dragon Ball Z segment on What If Android 16 Killed Imperfect Cell? And this is a video request from Mighty Warrior 1324. So in today's video I will analyze how 16 killing Cell will affect the rest of the events in the series, how it could impact future Trunks' future, and how it would alter different character interactions throughout the series. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into this video. So let's first start off by talking about the main series as a whole. Now originally, I'm sure that we can both agree that it is very possible that 16 could have defeated Imperfect Cell. This is especially true since it was said that 16 and Imperfect Cell were around the same in power level, so it's not impossible to think that 16 could have beaten Cell instead of Cell absorbing 17 and then getting too strong. Now, this is essentially going to be covering what if 16 had killed Imperfect Cell without using his bomb. With that said, killing Cell would change several events in the series, which includes the fight between Piccolo and Android 17. Because of the fact that Cell essentially broke up the fight between Piccolo and Android 17, he disturbed what was going to happen in the outcome of the fight itself. Now, we all know that Piccolo is my favorite character, but despite that, I'm going to be completely unbiased in this video. Now, although Piccolo and 17 would most likely resume their fight, what happens next is actually rather straightforward. Remember, Android 16 jumped in to fight Cell right after Cell blew part of Piccolo's torso off and flung him into the ocean. Because of this, that means Piccolo would be injured after Cell's death, leaving him on the island with the androids around. Because Piccolo's life would be in danger, it's safe to say that Goku would definitely jump in and use instant transmission to save Piccolo afterwards. Now, some of you may argue that 17 may not be as hostile towards Piccolo since Piccolo tried to save his life from Cell, but considering the fact that Piccolo knew where Goku was, and because 16 really wanted to kill Goku without being reprogrammed by Bulma afterwards, this leads me to believe that 17 would still be hostile towards Piccolo, especially because of Android 16. Either way, after Goku teleports Piccolo to the lookout, he would then go to Roshi's house knowing it was unsafe for them to be there since the androids could easily fly back there to interrogate the rest of the Z fighters for Goku's location. This would then lead to a point of ambiguity. The clock would then begin to tick for the androids. After a day, regardless of whether or not the androids are hostile in their search for Goku, Vegeta and Trunks would emerge from the hyperbolic time chamber. Now, because the lookout allows the Z fighters to watch Earth from up above, eventually Trunks and Vegeta would meet up with the androids, and Vegeta would be extremely anxious to kill Android 18, considering the fact that she embarrassed him in the fight before. Trunks, growing up in a different future, would still depict the androids as evil even though they had spared the Z fighters. Originally, because Cell was around, Vegeta and Trunks had their focus on Cell, but because Cell is dead, they would focus solely on the androids, and because he is a part of the Red Ribbon Army, Trunks would have absolutely no problem killing Android 16 as well to finally put an end to the android threat. So, regardless of what exact point in time it can take place, which can vary, in 3 days the androids would have to deal with 5 Z fighters who can beat them. Now, it's ambiguous to know exactly how long it would take for the Z fighters to actually fight the androids, but Goku and Gohan would go into the hyperbolic time chamber as well, just in case Vegeta and Trunks were not strong enough as it originally took place. The same would also happen for Piccolo, who would probably go in as well to be extra insurance. So essentially, even though they would be less evil, the androids would be destroyed unless they could find the lookout within a day, which I highly doubt considering the fact that 17 would want to take things slow. Now, although I'm almost certain that the androids would not cause massive genocide in the meantime, Trunks and Vegeta's desire to fight them would be just too much of a problem for the androids, so I hope I cleared this up. Now, after the android threat, Goku would then go to New Namek and bring back Dende to be the new Guardian of Earth. The only difference this time would be that the Nameks would not have sent Cell as they originally did, since Cell was dead and there wouldn't be as much of an urgency to get a new Guardian, but because of Dende's relationship with Krillin and Gohan, he would still opt into being the new Guardian of Earth. After this, however, the Z-Fighters would wish for the innocent civilians who were killed by Imperfect Cell when he was trying to increase his power level through absorption. After this, Trunks would then go back to his timeline and kill the androids and Cell, as 16 killing Cell would have no impact on what future Trunks would do in his timeline. The only difference is that he would have never had as much respect for his father, since Vegeta would not have raged out against Cell for him when Trunks had essentially died. And he would tell Bulma that Goku never died, unlike what he did originally. He would then kill Cell afterwards, just like how he originally did, as Cell would then attempt to take his time machine, as Trunks would obviously predict. If you want to learn more about Dragon Ball Z time travel, I created a theory on it and I'll post a link to it in the description. So, now we move on to the Buu arc. Well, there are a lot of question marks about the Buu saga. First of all, what would happen to Vegeta, Videl, Gohan, Goten, Trunks, and Goku over those 7 years? And would Babidi even be interested in the Earth like he originally was? Well, in this video, for all sakes and purposes, I will cover a scenario in which Babidi was still interested into the Earth for any of the Z-Fighters' energy to unlock Majin Buu, even though they wouldn't be as strong as Super Saiyan 2 Teen Gohan originally was. Now in this what if scenario, because Goku would have never died, Chi-Chi would be very different. Because of this, I believe that she would want Gohan to continue being a scholar while allowing Goten to be trained by Goku. Part of the reason I say this is because Gohan was Chi-Chi's only child, but with 2 sons she would probably change. Despite this, however, I believe she would allow Goku, Gohan, and Goten to enter the World Martial Arts Tournament in order to win the prize money. This, however, is based on the assumption that Gohan would still go to the Orange Star High School and would eventually meet Videl, which is still extremely possible based on the circumstances, with the only major difference being Hercule not killing Cell. Wink wink, killing Cell. With that said, he could still be the Great Saiyaman, and the same interactions could occur with Gohan just being a lot weaker without obviously knowing Super Saiyan 2. Now, as far as Vegeta goes, because of Goku's son Goten, he would be a lot harsher on Trunks, but would be a lot less of a father and more of a strict training partner. But with everything put into perspective, Goten would probably beat Trunks in the first round due to Goku's influence. Now, it's unknown who would be chosen to fight Kibito, as it's completely random. But for all sakes and purposes, it honestly doesn't matter, because ultimately the Z-Fighters would have to end up fighting Babidi and his crew anyways. My educated guess is that Spopovich and Yama would absorb the energy of whoever is fighting Kibito, which was originally Piccolo and then Gohan, but I thought about this really hard and it honestly doesn't matter. The Z-Fighters would end up going to Babidi's hideout afterwards anyways. Now, I am sure that we can all agree that Vegeta was a major reason for screwing up the original events in the Buu saga. In this case, however, because Goku is alive, that means Vegeta's desire to fight him would be a lot less than it originally was, due to the fact that Goku being dead essentially intensified Vegeta's desire to fight him, because obviously he didn't get the chance, which was why he allowed Babidi to control him. But in this scenario, since Goku would be there on Earth, Vegeta wouldn't have that desire, and because of that, he wouldn't allow himself to be possessed. In addition to that, since Gohan would be a lot weaker than he originally was, Goku or Vegeta would choose to take on Dabura by themselves instead of allowing Gohan to fight Dabura, because they would know that Gohan wouldn't stand a chance against him, and ultimately, the Buu arc would end right there because Goku and Vegeta would just simply kill Dabura, kill Babidi and the rest of his henchmen, and that would just be the end of the series. As requested by Rhymestyle, he asked me, how would this event affect Battle of Gods? And it's extremely simple. I can say it in just one sentence. No Buu means no Beerus getting mad over pudding, which means Beerus wouldn't blow up the earth. There you go. Now, in terms of some character interactions that would have been different, we first start off with Android 18 and Krillin never having Marin as a child, because obviously 18 would have been killed. Goten and Trunks would have never have learned how to fuse, since Goku would have never died. And I personally think Goku would have never reached Super Saiyan 3, and I say this for two reasons. The first reason is because of the ability to push his body farther while being dead, as Goku said it in the series, that it puts a lot more stress on his living body than his dead body. My second reason would be due to the fact that since Goten is only 7 and we assume Goku didn't train with Gohan, Goku wouldn't really be able to train with Goten for the first few years of his life, since Goten would have been too young. Let's use an example. A good age to start training a child would probably be around 3 or 4, since obviously 1 or 2 would be way too young. And this would be a lot different as compared to Goku just diving straight into training in the afterlife, training with seasoned fighters and learning from all those dead masters. So that's why I don't think Goku would have ever learned Super Saiyan 3. Now moving on to Gohan and Videl, I still think they can become boyfriend and girlfriend, but Videl wouldn't be anywhere near as popular along with Hercule, since Cell would have been killed by 16 and not Mr. Satan. Wink wink. And now moving on to Gohan once again, Gohan would have never have become Mystic Gohan because he would have never released Elder Kai from the Z-Sword, and in addition to that, Gohan would never know Super Saiyan 2 anyways, so he would be a lot weaker than he originally was. And last but not least, in this scenario, future Trunks would actually be the hero of the present timeline instead of Gohan. Even though technically, future Trunks kind of was the hero of the present time when you really think about it in a more complicated way, but you guys know what I mean. So guys, that has been my video for today. I've been working on this video for several weeks and I thought it was perfect to upload this for Christmas Day. In addition to this video, please check out my reaction to Screw Attack's new death battle between Buu and Kirby, as I was a guest in that video on Duct Tape's channel, also known as the Comic Corner. He is a brand new YouTuber, so please give him some support. In addition, please check out some of the other YouTubers that I make videos with, like Blackenfist, Thundershot, Rhymestyle, or anyone else in my featured tab. But most importantly, over everything else, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys, and have a Merry Christmas.